Ladies and gentlemen, we have been working all day and now it's after work. I'm Joe. Welcome back. Another episode of That Nintendo Show, our weekly Nintendo news podcast or show, however you want to say it, consume it, whatever it be. This is for August 18th, 2017. You can find me here over on twitch.tv/JoAfterWork, and the next day dropping, sorry, I messed that up. Anyway, Friday nights, twitch.tv/JoAfterWork, normally at 7:30 p.m. We're doing this a little bit earlier because we've got some engagements to go to that deal with being on YouTube later on, which is going to be awesome. I'll fill you in just a minute. But goes up on YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes the next day in audio and video on demand formats, however you want to consume that stuff. And I think that's all notes. I think that's all we got, guys. This is going to be probably a shorter show, or maybe a more focused show. I picked out there wasn't too many things that I really felt like needed to be spoken about, so I picked out a handful of things. You guys, if you're watching it live on Twitch, I've got it underneath me, everything we're going to talk about. That's pretty much going to be the remainder of this show. And afterwards, I'm gonna take a short break off of stream, and at 9 p.m., this is for everybody watching live, I will be live with Nintendo Guru over on his channel on YouTube. Nintendo Guru is he's been on YouTube for, I believe, a couple of years, if I'm not mistaken. And I just found him like about a month ago. He showed up in like my recommended feed, and I started watching his videos, and I realized he was live streaming one day, so I jumped into that. And you know, I've been there for a little bit, and eventually I just he asked me to be on his show, Nintendo Talk. That's sort of his daily show, and then he sometimes does live stream formatted shows with Nintendo Talk, and it's sort of like different topics, more current event based as well. But that one's very more conversational, one-to-one, and then he takes questions from the streams and stuff. So it's going to be a good time. If you guys haven't checked out his content, make sure you do. I'll leave a link in the description after the breakout videos for this podcast, and I'll leave it in the description in the podcast feed as well, so you guys have a chance to check him out. Show him some love. Let him know JoAfterWork sent you there. And without further ado, guys, let's head down to Pipeline right now. Woo! All right, here we go. We're in. And of course, what's going down to Pipeline without refreshing my laptop here? Whew, you do all these updates and everything just kind of happens here. By the way, got this Nintendo New York exclusive shirt here of Samus, which is really, really awesome. It's kind of retro-y, like it sort of looks faded. I kind of like that look for this one. It kind of fits. And also picked up, I needed a new canteen. This one I actually like a hell of a lot better than my other one, because you would actually feel the temperatures on the other one because it was all metal. This one you actually don't feel how cold it remains because it's got like this this red piece here that allows you to hold your hand there. It's from Nintendo New York also. I'm a tool, I know. But they had this same thing. So Summer of Play is also going on this weekend here in New York City, down in Brooklyn. And they have this same exact one, except it says My Nintendo, and they're giving it out for free. Of course, this one was $20, and the shirt was $20. But I mean, I've been using that canteen for forever. It was my Apple one from when I worked there way back when. But let's talk Nintendo Switch sales. And apparently, according to GameSpot, from Eddie McCooch, it's an interesting last name, Nintendo Switch outsells PS4, Xbox One in US sales in July. So NPD numbers went out, and according to NPD Group today, put out its report for July 2017, showing that the Nintendo Switch was the best-selling console of the month in the US. Its success was fueled by part by new units coming into retail channels and the launch of Splatoon 2, which was July's best-selling game. And an NPD analyst, Matt Piscatella, said, which it just goes to show, this was, I feel like we were talking about this a couple weeks back. Every time Nintendo's launching a game that month, when the game's coming out, they just sort of ramp up production on these Switch consoles, and people are still wanting them. People are like, boom. I think June, they didn't top first Uh, although they did have some switches, that was sort of like May, June was like the time where it sort of tipped down a little bit because they didn't have as many switches readily available. But it seems like they're getting that stock ramped back up, which is really, really good to see. I was even at Nintendo New York. They had switches there. I believe my GameStop also had a couple switches as well. So it's like they seem to be trickling back in. Who knows how long this will last? If you're looking for one and you happen to see it, get it that day, because who knows when the next time you'll be able to get it is. Or let me know if you see a bunch of them and and nobody's picking them up. I mean, I'm interested to know. I'm curious about this whole thing. On the year-to-date basis, however, Sony's PlayStation 4 remains the best-selling console, of course, as far as total sold, because Sony had, what, 2 months before Switch, so they do have the upper hand. It'd be interesting to see if Nintendo can keep up the stock of the Switch to a point where maybe they can surpass them and have the overall year sales as number one spot. For July 2017, hardware sales in the US came to 182 million, rising 29% when compared to July 26. Piscatella said Switch and PS4 sales accounted for most of the increase. Not a word was said about Xbox One hardware in NPD's reports. I think everyone's either waiting for the Xbox One X, or someone correct me in the chat if whether the Xbox One S has a price cut already. Maybe people are waiting for that. So when waiting for the Xbox One X to come out, and that way they can get a better deal on an Xbox One S possibly, and maybe we'll see some sales. But Xbox, they're hanging in there. Seeing some hard times right now. It's interesting how the tides turn. At the end of the PS3, Xbox 360 era, we started to see that PlayStation was starting to finally catch up, and they sort of evened out closely. Maybe we'll see the sort of same thing 3, 4, 5 years out from now, where, you know, Xbox finally catches up. Who knows? But I think what's been helping PlayStation, I know this is a Nintendo podcast and I'm talking about Xbox and PlayStation, but I think what's been helping Sony a lot is they've been getting a lot of the third-party support and getting a lot of those DLC exclusives. Like, we've seen that with Destiny right now. See it with the last couple of Call of Duties, I believe. At least, Black Ops 3 and whatever the last one was. I believe Sony had some sort of time exclusive DLC for the PlayStation 4 prior to getting it over to Xbox. Their exclusives have been actually coming out, where Microsoft, we haven't really been seeing a lot of exclusives, and when we do hear about them, they have been either pushed back, delayed, or canceled. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to jump back into the chat here, see what you guys think so far about the sales of the Switch, and what you guys think it means for future sales of Switch going forward. Will we see them in stock? Have you guys seen them in stock? When Sony says exclusive, they mean exclusive. L1, yeah, it's true. It's true. Very true. We don't see that, the whole... It was at E3 where we saw, like, Xbox One X... not timed exclusive, but they used some weird verbiage that it was like, wait, are these exclusive, or is this a timed exclusive? These are a lot of third-party games that seemed like they would come out on other consoles. There was just a lot of wording that had gone wrong in that conference. O'Malley Vixarello, I hope I said that right. Welcome to the chat, dude. What's going on? Welcome to the stream, I mean. Console exclusive. There we go, yes, which meant you could get it on PC too. Yes, and then that was the other thing. Like, they have a lot of their games that are coming out, which I think is cool that they're doing it, but I think it hurts them in the long run, are like games like Gears of War, the Halos. They're all being made available on PC as they are on Xbox One. So for people who are PC exclusive that were thinking about getting an Xbox for some of those exclusive games, can just go ahead and play them on here on their PC and not have to buy a console for that matter. And it probably, if they're playing on PC, they're probably running it better anyway. So there's that. Quantum Break was probably one of the last games I bought on my Xbox One. I have an OG Xbox One, and I love Quantum Break. One of my favorite games that I've played last year, but I haven't turned it on in a while. I think when I streamed with Seek and Deadeye Left 4 Dead back in January, that was probably the last time I turned on my Xbox One. Unless we played Resident Evil 6 after that, me and Seek, I think those were one of the last 2 times I've turned on my Xbox One. Nintendo making Switches equals printing money. Dude, seriously, they're ramping up that production, which is great for them, especially after hearing like the whole Apple thing, backing out of the same production manufacturer from Japan, Japan Displays Japan. I guess they make the same, they used to at least make the same screens for the iPhones that they do now for the Switch. So now that Apple's backing out of that, I guess that's leaving more room for Nintendo to ramp up production with them, which is good news. O'Malley says, I remember Phil Spencer saying the Xbox One X is mainly just something to give their players more options. He seems more focused on those who already own Xbox than those who don't. As someone who's on Xbox, I'm okay with that. Which is great. No, see, this is great. This is what I like to hear here, is like making this more conversational. I want to hear from you guys about this, which is awesome. And that's another thing about Phil Spencer too, is he's about the games. He's very much about the games, which is great. I mean, re-engineering the software, the OS to the Xbox One to create backwards compatibility to the Xbox 360, and now going, I don't know if it's out yet, but to the original Xbox now, that's huge. That I'm sure there's a lot of people, including probably yourself, O'Malley, that are really excited about that. It's just, I think, and I was watching the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show earlier today, and I think oh my gosh, what's his name? Not Greg Miller, but the guy that's with him, the Irish guy that was on Games, that used to be from GameSpot, Danny O'Dwyer. He kind of hit the nail on the head. Is it seems like there's a lot of stuff that Phil Spencer is doing that that might be part of a bigger picture, and maybe Microsoft is taking their loss right now to kind of create that bigger picture of what they want the Xbox One, or maybe even the actual next generation of consoles become, and carry that over from Xbox One to whatever that might be years down the road. But moving on, we're going to go over to refreshing my capture card again, and up next we've got some more NPD news with Splatoon 2. It's like I formatted this show to just kind of segue into each other. But July 2017 NPD, of course, this comes from over on VentureBeat. Splatoon 2, top seller, which is crazy. I'm going to try to zoom in for you guys. There we go. So we know about how much consumers spent. This is pretty interesting, though. Total 588 million, up to 19% from 496 million in July 2016, which is insane. And most of that money is coming from console software. More people bought games this year during the month of July than last year by 17%. We went from 224 million last year to 263 million, which is insane. People are buying games. It's a good year for games. This might be one of my favorite years in gaming that I can remember for the last couple of years, and that doesn't knock anything that came out last year. But man, we're getting hit left and right with video games from all consoles. But number one, Splatoon, Crash Bandicoot, Insane Trilogy, hanging in there, man. People are loving the fact that Crash is back, which is crazy, and I think the sales will go to show that they have to make a new Crash game. I know this is like far from Nintendo right now, but anyway, Grand Theft Auto at number 3, Final Fantasy 12, 4, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild still hanging there, and I believe the star on the right means that they didn't take into account digital sales. Mario Kart 8 at number 7, and I believe the other Nintendo game that is on here, wow, Minecraft is still up there. Yep, ARMS is still up there at 17. And this also goes with saying that Splatoon 2, I don't think it was in this article, but Splatoon 2 sold over 1 million copies of the game, which means Mario Kart 8, Breath of the Wild, ARMS, Splatoon 2. I'm missing one. What am I missing? There's a game that I am missing. Is it in here? Yeah, Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8, Splatoon 2, and ARMS. If I'm missing one, sorry, but that's 4 Nintendo games that have all sold between 1 to 2 million copies since the launch of the Switch. That is nuts. That is insane. And especially when one of those games in ARMS is a brand new IP and sells that many is bonkers to me. It's crazy. It's good. It's good. But let me jump back into chat and we'll get over we'll cross out NPD numbers from the list. O'Malley says, sorry, I was in the middle of typing this while you switched over. I think, oh, this is going back to our last topic. Oh, you know what? I didn't even change the news topics on the wallpaper there. Sorry, guys. Good job, Joe. I have the proper wallpaper, so I apologize. Normally the news feed is down there. Oh, that's okay. That's fine. We'll fix it. We'll fix it in post. There's one thing in particular that Phil Spencer said that I still remember. He said console wars are bad for this industry. He wants everyone to succeed, and he's happy for Sony and their success, which is great. Yeah, that nice little that humbling statement. I bet you if he was on top, he'd probably say something else. Fight me, Spencer! Fight me! I kid, of course. L1 says Grand Theft Auto 5, number 3. Seriously, Grand Theft Auto 5 and Minecraft still among the top sellers. This is absurd. I think you're right on that. Maybe. Oh man. Twin World, what's going on? That is insanity indeed. These sales numbers, whew, what? We're cooking right here, and I am cooking too. I turned off the AC so that way you guys don't hear the humming in the background. I noticed the first episode I had the AC on, and you could hear it the entire time. And when I was trying to listen to it on iTunes to see how it sounded, audio was great, but you kept hearing the so like, ah, crap, because I'm so close to it. So, oh my goodness. All right. Moving on. Up next, we've got some Splatoon 2 Splatfest news. The next this comes from, this is over Nintendo Versus, but I meant to pull the original Nintendo of America tweet, which was, the next Splatoon 2 Splatfest has been announced for September 1st through the 2nd. Which superpower would you want? Team Fight or Team Flight or Team Invisibility? Which I've been mulling over this for the last 5 hours, trying to figure out what team I would be. I think I would lean towards Team Flight, only because if you're Team Invisibility, then if you turn on like heat sensors, you're kind of screwed. Like, they can then see your body heat, and that's kind of rip. Like, if I guess I'm gonna, make use of a power, I'll use Flight and fly around. Maybe I could just fly over to Cali when I need to for E3 and then fly back. This was a tough one for me. If it was teleportation, immediately I would be teleportation. I feel like flight and teleportation kind of go more together, more together. So I think that's why I'm leaning more towards flight, because then I can at least fly over if someone I know needs help, and I can kind of be there sort of soonish. Draco, what's going on? Oh man. But yeah, what teams do you guys want? And while you guys are picking that, I'm gonna move on to the next one, which we've got from Nintendo of America's Twitter feed. Splatoon 2, since we're still on, we haven't left Splatoon yet. The Splatoon 2 bundle arrives September 8th. It includes a download code and carrying case, availability exclusively via Walmart. So Walmart's got the exclusive on this Nintendo Switch, which a lot of people were clamoring for when Splatoon 2 came out. So we're getting it about a month and a half later after the game's release. I wonder how many people are actually going to get this. If you just want the Joy-Cons, it's still better to get them imported over buying this console. Just taking the Joy-Cons from it, because I'm not doing that. I already bought mine from PlayAsia. They apparently shipped like 2 weeks ago. I'm still waiting for them. I've got this right here. You guys can't see it for the audio for the podcast, but I've got my Splatoon Joy-Con grip. I'm waiting for my Splatoon Joy-Cons to come in, so that way I can actually put them in there. Like, that's the only set of Joy-Cons I need. I have all my other Joy-Cons. We have the yellow, we got the black, we got the red, we got the blue. I'm addicted. I know, I have issues. So you don't get the physical copy of the game, which is interesting for a bundle. Is this the first US bundle? Like, and I'm not talking about like the GameStop ones. I think this is the first US bundle that we're getting, with a game included in the console. So that's kind of nice. And I believe the price is $3.79. I tried clicking on the link, and Walmart has it in its search engine, but it doesn't allow you to actually, it fails to find it on their website right now. So I'm just showing you guys the tweet here. But wow, it's gonna rain hard soon, if you guys can hear the thunder in the background. But that's pretty cool. I mean, regardless, I know you got a lot of you guys out there that watch the show prefer physical over digital. You know me, I'm pro digital unless it's a collector's edition of some sort that has something really cool. So that's where I usually end up buying physical. But yeah, I would get this if I didn't have a Switch already, because I would have wanted to play Splatoon 2, and I really want those Joy-Cons. I'm just saying. Moving on. And while we're on the subject of Joy-Cons, now you can play the Joy-Con. Now you can play the Nintendo Switch with one hand. This is an awesome Joey. I'm sorry. I had to. So, this guy called Vixelius created like a Joy-Con adapter to be able to play with the Switch with one hand. And instead of me explaining why he did it, I'm just gonna read the excerpt here that's from Nintendo Life. And this adapter was developed by a request of my friend Rami Webb, who wanted to play Zelda Breath of the Wild using only his left hand, as he lost the ability to control his right hand due to a cerebrovascular accident. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has a complex control scheme, and the shape of the included Joy-Con grip doesn't help at all. So I decided to make a customized grip that would help in this situation. This current design was the result of almost a week of research and lots of failed prototypes, as I had to ensure that it would be easy to print, lightweight, and practical. After testing that it works properly, we decided to share it so that it could be of help to other gamers in a similar situation. So instead of making money off of this dude was like, here, I want to share it with you guys. Boom. Take it for anybody, which is amazing. I love that. I like to see more of something like this. And the fact that he made it for his friend is amazing. And the first thing I thought of when, I can't remember if I read it or if 025 sent this over to me on Discord. I think it was a little bit of both. But I've shared this in the Discord. I'm sure I've shared it on stream before. One of my best friends had a stroke last year, and he has no movement on his left side at all. So I feel like if I know somebody that has a 3D printer, and I checked Thingiverse, which is where he actually uploaded the document to actually download this file. I'll leave the links in the description if any of you guys are interested in this. But he was actually we were talking yesterday, we were texting each other, and he was saying how he was thinking of getting a Switch because I had shown him this link, and I was like, dude, go for it. Now, the guy, my friend's 6'9", so he's got like his hands are like twice my hands, so I might have to like figure out how to like mess with like see if like the person that I know that has a 3D printer knows how to like make it so it's a little bit wider or like bend back out a little bit more, so that way it's got more width to like That way he's not like crushing the Joy-Cons, because Joy-Cons, I told you guys, are small in my hands. They're tiny in his hands. So he's thinking about getting it, and if he does, then I could do this and try to get it 3D printed and everything, which is really, really awesome. The other factor was I'm thinking speedrunners doing one-handed runs with this game. The only caveat to this file, though, is it's made for left-handed people. I haven't found anyone that's uploaded a right hand as of yet, but this link shows it shows like people can also share their file on this website and say, hey, I made a better version of this, here you go, and here's the document for it. And then you just download it, and then if you have a 3D printer, I guess you upload it and it starts to, however 3D printers work, which is really awesome. So I thought this was really, really cool to share. I'm gonna jump into chat right now, talk to you guys. What do you guys think of this and its implications? But I'm gonna see what's going on here. Draco, what's up again? Joe's live? You goddamn right we're live, Draco. Sadly, I don't have a Nintendo Switch, so I can't really contribute, but just based on powers alone, I would say Invisibility. O'Malley, damn. That Invisibility. I like that. I like that. Draco says, trying to hunt in art. Oh, he's playing Monster Hunter. Nice. Let's get physical, physical, says L1. Interesting. Honestly, I prefer digital. O'Malley, join the club. That's what I'm talking about. See, I knew we were friends. I knew we were friends. Come on. Come on. Oh, man. So when we're all just at work multitasking, you're damn right you are. You're damn right. Headed home, Joe. Hopefully I'll stop by again soon. L1, take care of yourself, dude. Thank you for dropping by. Oh, man. Alright, so we're going to move on from this subject. Hello. There we go. Okay. And can we not play the video? Boom. So moving on from all the Splatoon, the Joy-Cons, the Switches, we come to this. And very rarely, we try not to curse here, so I'm going to censor myself here. But this is a bunch of BS right now. Japan and Europe are getting physical boxes for Pokemon Gold, Pokemon Silver. Where's the love to the US? Come on, man. Come on. You gotta be kidding me. This is coming by way of IGN. Pokemon Gold and Silver receiving box re-release for 3DS. Joey Screbbles. That's an awesome last name. Wrote this article up. We're just gonna zoom in here, not to that Galaxy S, but boom. Can we get this right? Yeah, there we go. We may not be sure about the Western versions of these boxed editions will include, but we do know the Japanese buyers will get this beautiful Japanese box. Will include the Game Boy cartridge-shaped magnets, stickers, and wall charts themed on the game you buy. See all of that below, which, sorry again for those of you watching, listening instead of watching. You can head on over to youtube.com/JoAfterWork to watch the video format CDs. But this is dope. Look at this. They've got magnets of the original Game Boy cartridges of each version, depending on which one you buy, like I said. And then you got stickers, and the legendary that's on there is, again, based on the version. So if you get gold, you have Ho on there with the starters, and then Lugia is on silver. And then you have the Pokemon chart, again, based on the versions, because there are some exclusive to the ones. There's a couple that are on one version that aren't on the other, which is pretty cool. Man, they are showing the love. Sorry, that's the wrong keyboard. Boom. But yeah, yep, Nintendo of Europe also announced. And as of this live stream, we have not heard anything on the US yet. I looked up, I checked again like about 30 minutes before we started, and I didn't see anything. If anyone wants to correct me, send it on over to joafterwork.com/TNSQ, and I will read it. I have my mail open too, so I should get the notifications there. And if you guys have any questions for the show, I will read them at the end of the show. So let's move on. Some more Pokemon news. Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon got some interesting bits of news. We got a new trailer. We've got some new Z moves apparently. And Kamomium Z got a new Z move in there, which is pretty crazy. I won't play the videos. I'm tired of seeing so many copyright strikes. It's bad enough some of these videos have to go through the Nintendo Creator Program. But we're just gonna click around here, and I'll show you. This is all from the official Pokemon site. So yes, new Z moves. Let's read up on this real quick. Excuse me. The main character wears a Z ring in order to use Z moves in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. The character will put on a Z power ring, which can use even more varieties of Z moves than Z ring. And the game also features new Z moves for certain Pokemon, which is pretty dope. So look at that fancy watch with a diamond. And for those of you who know Pokemon, these are all super powered moves. When I was doing the Dark Lariat like crazy with, oh my gosh, Incineroar, I was wrecking shop. We're going to stream the full game here on Twitch when it comes out. I think that's November 17th. It's a Friday. Whatever day that Friday is closest to that date. But what's interesting is the game itself is supposed to take place... So I thought it was supposed to take place in a few years after the original Pokemon Sun and Moon. I'm hearing now that it's taking place like in an alternate timeline to Pokemon Sun and Moon. I'm all sorts of confused here. I don't know what to make of anything with this, but apparently we're getting more Necrozma, which is the last spoilers, which is the last Pokemon, the last Ultra Beast you catch throughout all the post-game content. And in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, the story unfolds on a grand scale with the legendary Solgaleo, Lunala, and Necrozma as its center. Secrets about Necrozma in the Alola region, undisclosed in previous games, will come to light. So we're going to learn more about the 3 of those legendary Pokemons in this game, which is great. Look for a new look for a new adventure. The looks of main characters' outfits has changed from the first trip through the Alola region, just in time for them to begin a new adventure. Choose Pokemon that will become your partner and set out on a journey through the world of Alola, which the same starters as what we had in the original Sun and Moon are also going to be a part of this. Those will be the same starters. And I believe there is one more bit of Pokemon news before we jump in, or no, that was it. All right, so before we jump into this next one, which I personally thought was pretty interesting. I had no idea about this until it happened. I'm going to jump into the chat, actually, and see what's going on with you guys. Pokemon Gold and Silver, 150 Pokemon. 250 Pokemon! Oh man, anybody have a 3DS and plan on picking up, or 2DS and planning on picking up Pokemon Gold and Silver in September, or one or the other, I should say. I want to say it first. I think Pokemon is awesome. It's great and I love it, but I will always prefer Digimon. Ooh, fighting words. At least the older ones with like Tai and Kyrie and oh my gosh, TK. What wasn't TK the kid's name? The one with Anjumon, right? November 17th. Me. Paw Champ. I have a 3DS, but don't usually play Pokemon games. Too many other games to play. I hear you there. I was like torn between bouncing back and forth between my Switch with Sonic Mania and my 3DS with Chicken Wiggle and trying to finish the game. I have 3 more levels to go. We did a Nintendo Spotlight last night, so that should be going up fairly soonish. Give me a couple days. I gotta figure out a time to where I can edit all these videos, so that's gonna don't worry, at the latest it'll be up by Monday, so I'll let you guys know that. Tanks, Kari, not Kira. Kari, sorry, I thought it was like Kyrie. That's Kingdom Hearts, right? Kyrie and Riku. Yeah, TK was my boy, man. TK. And then what was that jerk? Davis, right? I can't even remember, man. Ooh. I bought 3DS because of Pokemon and Monster Hunter, and those are the games that I only play. Hot damn. Well, yeah, Monster Hunter will eat up your time, and if you're playing Pokemon competitively, forget it. Whew. That's a whole other world. Oh man, that for me and Pokemon competitiveness, this is what I have to say to that. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Sorry if I blew everyone's ears out with that one. That fox is rather loud. Davis' Season 2, you're thinking of Matt. No, Matt was alright. Matt was cool. I remember Matt and Ty, but I mean, Davis in the second season was like a total jerk. I did not really like him until like maybe the end, and even then, when I started watching Digimon Tree when it like first came out, the first like 2 episodes. I don't know if they did any more than like a handful of episodes, but I was like, I still don't like you. I still don't. Oh man. Yeah, fair enough. What a jerk. Man, that dude. Oh, Davis. Smack him. Moving on. Moving on. This I thought was pretty interesting. So I think I pulled the article from Nintendo Life, and they linked it to this blog, Legends of Location, where I guess this guy makes articles based on Legend of Zelda. But apparently, now I guess I should say spoiler warnings before I had scrolled down. In 3, 2, oh sorry, spoiler warnings for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go. Towards the end of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, you fight Ganon. I guess that part's not spoilery, but there's a particular set of dialogue between the Japanese version and when it was translated over to English that are slightly different, and one's implicating one thing about Ganon, while the English version is implicating a completely other reason for his transformation specifically and why he's become the beast. So we'll scroll down and we'll look at the translations that that this person on this blog actually laid out. But we'll just lay out everything that Zelda talks to Link about. This is basically the after you fight Ganon the first time in the tower, and then he becomes the giant beast afterwards. She goes, he's an embodiment of hatred and grudge that arose in a distant antiquity and revives again and again no matter how many times he's destroyed. Ganon was born out of a dark past. He is pure embodiment of an ancient evil that is reborn time and time again, says the English version. Now going back to the Japanese version, this form was born from his obsessive refusal to give up on revival. Now check this out. English version says, he has given up on reincarnation and assumed his pure, enraged form. The difference between these two lines really makes it seem like the Japanese version was saying basically what we've always heard about Legend of Zelda games. He will always come back. That's why we have so many Legend of Zelda games. But in the English version, the way it's worded makes you believe that this is the final time that you will fight Ganon. So people right now are kind of confused as to whether or not this means that this was the definitive end to Ganon, or if it was just bad translation from Japanese to English about it. I think, and I shouldn't say bad translation, but the way the wording was just might be a little... I can't think of a good word to say, but not deceptive, but like... It can confuse some people and think, oh wait, so then he's like done after this. I personally, for me, and I want to hear what you guys think about this, I would go with the Japanese version just because that was that's the original language of the game. I would imagine that they meant for Ganon to always be coming back because he refuses to die. And then of course the last wording of that is if set up free upon the world, it would result in tragedy surpassing the 100 years ago, where Zelda ended up enclosing Ganon in and trying to hold him tight in the Hyrule Castle for Link to resurrect 100 years later, and then Breath of the Wild begins. And then sort of the same thing in the English translation. If set free upon our world, the destruction will be unlike anything we've ever seen before. There you go. So, yeah, I personally would go with the first one. I think it just goes with the Legend of Zelda lore that Ganon will always refuse to die. But at this point, he's kind of given up on, on holding things back and just pure rage. And here is my deepest, darkest form, this giant beast. I'm just gonna wreck shop on everything because I want destruction and I want to end everything. So that's what I take from it personally. I think it was just a weird translation thing where sometimes it's kind of hard to take things from another language and bring it over to basically translating a language is it's sort of difficult. So to kind of find a word to do that, to kind of find proper wording to, you know, make it make sense with the dialogue of the game, things like that are gonna happen. And you know, Nintendo Treehouse does an amazing job doing all of this, and I just gotta work text. So after I jump back into chat on this one, I'm just gonna take a quick break and check that out, and we'll continue with the show. So well, one moment. The form was born from his obsessive refusal to give up. He has given up on reincarnation and assumed his pure enraged form. When you combine it, it seems to form one sentence almost. So you're taking it from both. I see what you did there. This form was one and assumed his pure enraged form. Yeah, I mean, it almost. I think we're on the same page here when it comes to this, where it's like he's gonna come back. He's gonna come back. He's got to come back. They're gonna keep making more. They'll find ways to weave in the games into different timelines and whatnot. This is clearly not the end of Ganon. I missed something from Seek. The evil ninjas you hired are gone now. Thanks for only forcing me to do the $4.99 subscription. Yo, I didn't send them. It was Where's Barry. He sent them. Oh my goodness. I just always looked at Zelda games as a multiverse, like in comic books. One Ganon may die, but other worlds still have their Ganons. It's crazy. It's like they made up this timeline out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden, the Zelda games had a timeline, and they broke it up into 3 different timelines after, you know, your starting point from Skyward Sword all the way down to Ocarina of Time, and then it splits up afterwards as like the hero time failed, hero time is a kid, and then the hero of time is stuck and didn't go back as a kid. So it's like, yeah, it's all split up, and they still haven't confirmed where Breath of the Wild lands. I'm leaning more towards the Wind Waker side, so adult Link era as opposed to kid Link era, even though this game sort of throws in so many nods at a bunch of the Zelda games throughout all of the timelines, whether it's like names of lakes or clothing. It's really interesting, but I still feel like it falls on the adult Link era side for anything. But let's move on from Legend of Zelda. And again, ignore the news topics down there. I completely forgot to add the new overlay. I'll fix that in post. Hopefully it won't be that bad. But data miners have found 3DS code in Mega Man Legacy Collection 2. This comes by way of Nintendo Life. Again, Nintendo Life getting that love. Where you guys already know Mega Man Legacy 2, Legacy Collection 2 came out on PS4 and Xbox One already. Switch and 3DS got no love, unfortunately. However, this was the case with Mega Man Legacy Collection 1, where it came out in August of 2015, and then 2016 in February last year, we got it on 3DS at least. I don't believe it's on the Wii U. I think 3DS was the only version that got it. So there's hope. I still say there's hope before I go deeper into this article that the game will come out on 3DS and maybe even Switch. Maybe a few months out from now. Capcom is turning over a new leaf on Switch. They're seeing people being successful bringing out games on the Switch because people are hungry for them and want to play them on the go. The proof has been in the pudding. There's about 80 plus games now on the Switch. I own 56 of them, okay? So I know. But let's go into the article here. No doubt Nintendo fans were greatly disappointed by the puzzling omission of anything Nintendo with the recently released Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, considering that some of the games included originally came out for the Nintendo platforms, a big duh, and that the first Mega Man Legacy Collection came out on 3DS, it seems logical that the new collection would be sure to see a release on Switch or 3DS, but apparently Capcom doesn't want too much money from Nintendo's fan base. Nonetheless, some interesting references to the 3DS have been found in the game's code. A data miner named Master recently found some code that indicates a multiplayer battle mode for a supposed 3DS version. Additionally, code was found referring to the saves and replays for an SD card, and the 3DS has its own directory file too. As the source article points out, this either means that the game is coming to 3DS, was initially coming out to 3DS before getting canned, or completely unrelated to the collection at all, and is simply code belonging to another project by the same team, though the last one is unlikely. It makes one wonder which of the first two outcomes would explain this. Before jumping back into the chat about this, sorry, that was my Skype. So the thing that I was thinking of when I first read this was, I'm wondering if they used assets from the first Mega Man Legacy Collection and left some of that stuff in there. That does happen from time to time, where developers will reuse assets from a previous game, throw it into there, and some of that stuff might be left in there unused, but it's, you know, it's fine. It's not going to bother the main game. So when these data miners went in and found some of these files, they don't go into specifics as to whether or not this is specifically for Mega Man Legacy Collection 1, or if this was, Legacy Collection 2, or if it looked like it was in there from before. I don't know if the game had like a battle, what was it exactly that they found? Indicates a multiplayer battle mode for a supposed 3DS version. If anyone could confirm whether or not that was the first one, I didn't get a chance to check that. I should have. But yeah, it's interesting. So there's a lot of things that could have possibly happened where they found this. It's sort of like last week where data miners found characters in ARMS that aren't in the game, but it looks like the names were either like code names for the characters that are now in the game, or old names that were originally going to be used for those characters in ARMS, because none of them look like they would be new characters. But yeah, let me jump into the chat here and see what you guys are talking about. PC is politically correct, not a PC version for Windows and such. Oh my gosh. Oh man, you're my boy Blue. I hope Capcom makes a Mega Man Legends collection, including 1, 2, and Tron Bond Adventure. Jeez, damn. Shout out to Tron Bond. What? And definitely need a Mega Man X collection. Yo, I was just looking at the GameCube version of Mega Man X collection, because they have it on sale right now on GameStop, and I was like, do I buy it? Do I get it? I don't know. And they have the Mega Man collection as well too, so I'm like, yeah, that's possible, I guess. The info being from Collection 1. If I were Capcom, I'd troll data miners by putting in Dr. I can't read the rest of that. That's good. Oh my god, Seek, you got the line of the day there. Hot damn. Whew. It's getting hot in here. Jeez. Gotta make me, bust out the sweater. Damn. Alright. Whew. It's a family-friendly show. Sorry. Oh, dude, it's all good. At least it's in the chat, as long as I didn't read it out loud. I don't care. Let's move on. Now, we are out of the pipeline. And into some awesome things. Some interesting stuff that I wanted to share with you guys before we go into the eShop drop. And this one was from Nin Mobile News, Tequila Works, and the reasoning behind why Rhyme was delayed for so long now. Tequila Works, they've been working on Rhyme for some time, because I remember this game was supposed to come out for like PlayStation 4 as an exclusive, because Sony was helping them. I don't know if it was like with publishing or funding it. Something went wrong. There wasn't really anything explained about the situation, but all that was known was Rhyme was not being worked on anymore. Tequila Works ended up getting the rights to be able to finish developing their game. They're still working on it. It's supposed to be coming out now for all consoles, so Xbox One, PS4, and Switch. Switch being the big announcement when the trailer came out a couple months ago that, like, hey, we're still making this game right now. We're alive. We're good. It's coming out. But it was supposed to come out back in June, and it got pushed again. And so here we go. Cody Bradley, the producer of Rhyme, explained that the game has been in development since August 2016 for Nintendo Switch, and due to the game being ported over to a new platform, they've been taking some time to optimize Rhyme to meet their quality standards. The development team of Rhyme are currently optimizing shaders and fixing bugs before QA submission. As mentioned, Rhyme will be getting an achievement system so that important moments of the game are not forgotten. Rhyme is scheduled for release November 14th in North America and November 17th for Europe on Nintendo Switch. So seems like they're, you know, the reasoning was because they wanted to do same day release for across all platforms, which is awesome. This next one was this one's for Ariel Draco. It's a Digital Foundry comparison video of Monster Hunter Double Cross and X on the 3DS versus the Switch version, which again, this is all Japan only. If you do end up getting it, the 3DS, you would need a Japan 3DS because all the 3DSs are region locked. However, on Switch, region lock free, so you can make a Japanese eShop account and have at it. We played the demo actually on Nintendo Spotlight. That video is up over on youtube.com/JoAfterWork if you guys want to check that out. Another cool thing was Rocket League. Jeremy Dunham from Psyonix, the developers at Rocket League, he was on Nintendo Voice Chat podcast last week. That's IGN's Nintendo podcast, so I encourage you guys to check that out. Also, back on the mobile news, a Splatoon comic anime. So the Koro Koro is like a Japanese manga company, sort of like Shonen Jump but for kids, and they're doing a Splatoon series. And although the language is only in Japanese, and even the wording is all Japanese characters because this is only out in Japan, you can check out their YouTube channel. They have a bunch of random stuff there as well. They're supposed to be doing, I don't know if it's a weekly series or if it's going to be every couple of weeks or something like that, but I thought it was still pretty funny. And, you know, the voice acting really does help in things like this because you can kind of get a better understanding with what's going on. It was cute. You guys should check it out, though. And before we go into the eShop drop, I'm just going to check in one more time with you guys. And remember, we will be giving away Sonic Mania digital code at the end of the show. I got to pull out the card there soon. And where did I miss? Crime rhymes with rhyme. Get a bite out of rhyme. Rated PG-13. Ruff. Scruff McGruff. My goodness. Mega Man X Collection would be cool. I think those games are available on the Wii U Virtual Console, unless I'm incorrect. I believe you're right. Yeah. X, at least X. I think I've seen X4 on there as well, on the Super Nintendo Virtual Console Twin World. Pretty sure you're right about that. There's something I want to mention, but I don't want to change the topic or interrupt it. What's going on? We'll do a little chat after we end the show too. So if you have any questions, or you can go over to joafterwork.com/TNSQ and send it over there. Seek says, "Do you think tequila works? Do you think tequila works, Joe? It hasn't solved my life problems personally." Oh my god. Tequila never solves problems. I actually can't physically drink it. Like, I gag every time. Ooh. It's disgusting. Monster Hunter. Draco, that's for you. And it's criminal that the Switch version is delayed. That delay is holding up the other console versions too, which is hilarious. I think this Digital Foundry article is messed up. 3DS was was X, not XX. Yes, but it's the same game. Ultimately, they are the same games. I don't know why one is called X and the other one's called XX. I guess not to confuse the two. No idea. It's really weird. They're both a continuation off Generations, which came out last year on the 3DS here in the US, and I think it came out a little bit earlier in Japan. But I think just for the sake of the title, that's probably why they named it that way, Double Cross, because nobody's gonna look up the Monster Hunter Cross over Double Cross, is my guess. Because everyone's leaning towards Switch, so if they see Monster Hunter Double Cross, they're gonna click on that and watch that video and realize, oh, there's one coming out for 3DS also, and here's a comparison between the two. It's the whole world of I don't want to, it's not clickbait, but it's the whole world of trying to get people to watch your videos. I'll rewatch Joe play Monster Hunter Double Cross demo. I managed to beat the first 2 monsters in Double Cross demo. That last monster kills me fast, dude. Nargacuga is ridiculous in that. I haven't messed with the second monster yet. Sonic Mania. Javier's gonna win the Sonic Mania. Watch, Kappa. Oh my gosh, he's not even in here. Draco, Sonic, Seek. Are you gonna stream that Monster Hunter Double Cross when it comes out to the West? If it comes out to the West, Capcom's still like, nope, we're not bringing it out. Monster Hunter Cross equals Japan. Monster Hunter Generations equals US. What? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, it's got more missions than it adds more missions from what Generations had, which is interesting because I wonder if it's graphically different enough, or if they could have just come out with a DLC pack that could also, for those who have Generations, like upgrade to Double Cross. I thought that maybe that'd be kind of cool. I can't get anyone to watch my stuff. Even when I say my videos, super summer sexy time with big boobies, nothing. I guess people hate summer. Oh my goodness. Oh man, O'Malley making Samus do moonwalk like no other space bounty hunter. Thank you for the follow and welcome to the Afterwork crew. Guys, show O'Malley Vixarello some love. Dude, thank you for that. That was awesome. We're gonna go into the eShop drop, guys. See what's going on here. Can we get a refresh on my capture card? And Mario, where are you at?
Here we go!
Let's do this. Ah, I X'd out of the wrong thing. We were doing so good, and then I X'd out of the wrong thing. That's what happened. But let's now go to the eShop drop. And here is what you can find on the eShop now, guys. Before we go on, just know that on Thursdays here on twitch.tv/JoAfterWork, we do a show called Nintendo Spotlight, where we go through some of these games that come out same week, and we stream them live here. We play them for about 30-45 minutes. We talk about, the game, learn about the story a little bit, ultimately decide whether or not the game is worth it, and we talk about, we give the recognition to the developers, the publishers that put their hearts and souls into these games and give them their spotlight. That's what the show is about. So if you guys tune in on Thursdays, we also do the breakout videos throughout the week for those Nintendo spotlights as individual episodes over on YouTube. So check that all out over there if you hadn't had a chance. We're about to hit episode 40 with that because we do so many of these in 1 week. But up first for the eShop drop is Troll and I for $29.99 on Nintendo Switch. And I'll read the synopsis a little bit, and then I will tell you my thoughts real quick about this game. Deep in the Nordic wilderness, a teenage boy named Otto is forced to flee his home after a band of brutal hunters rip through his village in search of a mythical creature rumored to inhabit the forest. Now on the run for his life, Otto inadvertently finds and befriends this elusive creature being sought by the hunters. Thus begins the perilous adventure of Troll and Otto. So shouldn't the game be called Troll and Otto and not Troll and I? What? I'm gonna stop. Publisher Maximum Games, developer Spiral House Limited. I got a problem with this game, guys. I downloaded it. I played it last night for a little bit after our stream, and the game runs really, really bad. I was playing. Now, I don't know if in docked mode it works just as bad or if it runs smoother. I have no idea, but I played it in handheld mode. I thought I was going to have a seizure. The game the frame rate drops down significantly. Like, I think it's supposed to run at 30 frames, and it drops, like, you see characters chugging. The camera movements are very, like, someone could get nauseous off of this game. The character models look really weird. Like, they're not, like, I don't know if it's because they're not fully rendering in there. Something happened with this game. I don't know if it's been if it was ported over to other consoles, or if it's on PC as well, if it runs any differently. But man, like, the characters spaz out too. I played it for about 20 minutes, and I was like, you know, because maybe I would do it as a Nintendo Spotlight, but I was like, you know what, let me check it out first, see if something I'm actually into. I buy all these games on a Nintendo eShop. The only one I haven't bought was Ironcast, and I got a review copy for Chicken Wiggle, but I also bought it on my other 2DS, so that way, you know, I can still support the indie developer as well, Atui. But yeah, the game, unless I would say if you were planning on picking this up, I would wait for a patch before spending your $30 on this game, because it was running really, like, it's noticeable, and it's playable to an extent, but it's not acceptable for a game to be coming out and for people to want to spend $30 on a game for it to run like that. No, I'm sorry. There's a problem there, and it needs to be addressed. So I challenge Spiral House, please come out with a patch. I would love to try to play this game and get, you know, understand what the story is with this game outside of, you know, I want to know what happens. When I saw the premise for this game, I was like, oh, this kind of maybe might play like Brothers, which was an amazing indie title. But I'm not going back until there's some sort of patch for this game. So that's my 2 cents on this. In brighter news, probably, no, I'm not going to say probably, my favorite Sonic game since Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3, Sonic Mania, out now, $19.99 on the Nintendo eShop, digital only. Now, we did an unboxing of the collector's edition. I'm in love with it, even though it's sort of on the cheap end as far as how it was made. I love that my Sonic on a thing. I put the batteries in there. I kept the batteries in there, so when I turn it on, it goes Sega. Oh my gosh, this game is everything. This game is the love letter to Sonic fans of the old school. It's just, my god. We did a full playthrough of this game. We beat the game last night, actually, and I'm going back. I have one more medal to get before I collect all 28 medals. And then I have my save file that I've got to get all the Chaos Emeralds in. When I get all the Chaos Emeralds, I will see if there's anything different that happens at the final boss. If that is the case, we will stream it here, and I will play that part for you if that is the case. Because, yeah, I won't spoil the game because I know some of you guys probably want to play it. So, and it's also out on other consoles as well. And for $19.99, that's not bad at all. That for the amount of content that you're getting and all the extra stuff that comes along with this game, yeah, it's fun. We messed with debug mode for a little bit yesterday. We did and Knuckles mode as well, which is hysterical. We did Knuckles with the partner as Knuckles. That cracked me up. I was crying the entire stream. It was great. Oh my goodness. But yeah, Christian Whitehead, Pagoda Games, Pagoda West Games, and Cannon Head, and Team Sonic, of course. This is everything I wanted in a Sonic game. Thank you. Also on Nintendo Switch, you've got Jackbox Party Packs 1 and 2 for $24.99, which has like a mix of games. Skyride for $7 on Nintendo Switch, which I did download. It's not for me. I'm moving on. Chicken Wiggle from Atui, Nintendo 3DS for $14.99, which this game is this game right here. I'm in love with it. It's sort of like it's a platform puzzle game, and it relies a lot on you trying to make your way across to save chicks. There's a witch at the beginning of the game that kidnaps all these chickens, and one gets out, befriends a worm, and Wiggle. Worm hangs out in your backpack like Banjo-Kazooie. You use the worm to kind of like get across certain platforms throughout the game. You can you can burn through the game really quickly, or you can take your time and try to collect the FUN, the fun, sort of like KONG and Donkey Kong. You can collect all the jewels that are around the game, around each level before saving your friends. There's like 40 plus stages in there. Wiggle the chicken. Twin World. But yeah, I had a blast with this game. I'm at the last I have 3 more towers to go before I finish the game, so I want to do that. And there's also a maker game within this. The game is a maker game. It's basically a better version of Mario Maker on on the 3DS, because I played the 3DS Mario Maker. We did it on stream when it came out, and I'll reserve my thoughts, but this is the Mario Maker we all wanted. You can share stages, you can tag them to make it easier to find. There's a whole thing. It's a good game. I can't say enough good things about this game. And thank you, Atui, first off, for the review copy. And I did buy the game on my other 2DS. I even showed the picture of it on Twitter when I said I was streaming. You had my 3DS and my 2DS underneath it. They both had Chicken Wiggle, so no one can say I didn't buy the game. Alchemic Dungeons also comes out today on the 3DS, 2DS for $5. This one I didn't get to look into a little bit more, but classic roguelike item plus item crafting, challenge randomly generated dungeons to the best of your knowledge. Alchemic Dungeons is a roguelike game that can be replayed with the random dungeon generating system. One action, one turn. The orthodox turn-based roguelike game. Isn't that a turn-based RPG? With item crafting feature, you can combine the obtained items and create powerful items that give you advantages in battle. Though the rule is simple, in beating enemies with magic and skills, an easy miss will trouble you and despaired with tough enemies that'll leave you surrounded and being easy. If you are distracted, you get stuck, which is the thrill of the roguelike game. Cucumber Factory made this game, which looks like... Where did I was just looking at the... my capture card froze, and I'll jump back into chat after this one, because this is the last game, last of 2 games on the eShop drop. Okay, these are clearly not the photo. Oh, there we go. Okay, because it's 2 screens, Joe. 2 screens. There we go. Interesting. It looks like a very... this kind of reminds me a little bit of like Final Fantasy... what is it? Chronicles on the Game Boy? The original Game Boy? There were like 2 Final Fantasies that were like the watered down versions of Final Fantasy on the Game Boy. And this kind of reminds me of that in here. And then, of course, what's an eShop drop without a Neo Geo game coming out? Magician Lord for $7.99 on Nintendo Switch. And that is, of course, Neo Geo Hamster Co. There you go. That is everything on the eShop drop. Guys, before we do the Sonic giveaway, I want to check in with you guys in the chat. We're almost out of time for the stream. Remember, 9 p.m. I will be over on Nintendo Guru's channel. I will drop a link in the chat before we end the stream tonight. I'm going to be on his show, Nintendo Talk. We'll be talking Nintendo, so I have no idea what the subjects we'll be talking about. It's going to just kind of be off the cuff, I guess, which I like. I personally love doing off-the-cuff stuff. This is mostly what the show is. I pick out the news topics, but I go off the cuff and I talk with you guys, because this is not just a news show. It's a conversation. So that's why I always like to jump into the chat and talk to you guys. Wiggle that chicken, says Twin World. Sonic is super dope. I really did like what I've seen so far. Oh my gosh, see, dude, have you seen the second act boss battle? The first act boss battle for no, yeah, it is the second act boss battle for Chemical Plant Zone. Tell me that is not the most amazing thing. That is such a... They threw so many throwbacks. It was awesome. Torno says, not quite like traditional RPG. With that kind of game, everybody probably moves in the same exact time. Movement attack counts as an action, similar to Chocobo Mystery Dungeon. Huh. Can't really click any links since I'm using the Twitch app on Xbox, so I will be able to mention the thing I was going to mention before you go. Yeah, drop it, dude. Drop it in there. Now's the chance. Now's your speak or forever hold your peace. Seek says they should make Inspector Gadget a character in ARMS. Yo. What? Why has nobody thought of this? Or even make a detective in the game as an ARMS character. Are you kidding me? That's freaking genius. He just can't use his legs. Or he can be the only character that uses his legs as well. Go, Gadget, jump! And he just says go, Gadget for everything that he does. Go, Gadget, twirling fist. Oh, man. Dude, the moves would be endless. You know how many things he has inside of him that he could use? It was like every episode he had something different to use. Like, dude, where do you get all these things? Oh, man. Oh, yeah, about Crash on Xbox. Yeah, I did hear about that. That was pretty... I hope it happens, to be honest. The more areas that game could come out in, the better. There's like no information as to whether or not Sony like paid to have that game on the PS4 as an exclusive or a timed exclusive at the very least. That game has to come out at least on Xbox. I mean, I feel like people would be chomping at the bit to pick up that game. If that game is still like the #1 PlayStation game being sold right now, come on, that game is gonna do gangbusters elsewhere. If they remake the original Spiral, that's it, yo. It's funny. I was watching, I was listening to the Gamescast a couple weeks back from Kinda Funny, and Tim Geddes is like the biggest Crash Bandicoot fan, and he's like, yo, let's get Spyro next. We got Crash, let's get Spyro. Because they're all Activision owned licenses, but they were exclusive to PlayStation at the time. So, you know, Spyro is now part of Skylanders and all this stuff, but they want a true, proper Spyro game, or at least a remaster of the original. So I thought it was funny that, that you mentioned that just now. But anyway, guys, let's do our Sonic Mania giveaway right now. We've got people up in the chat. Remember, if you are following me in the chat, or if you are a sub to this channel, you are entered in. Subs do not have to be in the chat the day of that Nintendo show where we do the giveaway. That is a perk to being one. And for those of you who are following, as long as you are in the chat day of and following, you are entered. So let me just get the rest of these names of everyone that is in the chat right now, and we will do our giveaway. And then I gotta go because Nintendo Guru just sent me a message on Skype a little while ago, so I want to make sure I get to him soon, so that way we can test out any audio stuff for his end of the show beforehand. So let's see, we've got Draco, we've got, let me make sure I spelled this right, O'Malley Vixarello, Twin World, and Seek and Destroy. Thanks again for that sub, dude. Alright, so we got our subs: Deadeye, Draco, Papa D-Rex, CB Nuttree, OK Cunning, Ha Ha Ha, Zomber, and Seek and Destroy. And everyone that's in the chat right now that's following is O'Malley Vixarello and Twin World. Alright, we're going to click the button. Here it is for the digital code for Sonic Mania right now. Oh, sorry, this is a digital code for the Switch version. Of course, it being a Nintendo show, everything that I do that's digital codes is either going to be Switch or 3DS. Here we go. Twin World 1. There we go, Twin World. I'll be sending you a whisper shortly after the stream, so that way I can send that over to you guys. Oh, are the dogs barking? I have no idea what's happening right now. But congrats to Twin World. You just won a copy of Sonic Mania for the Nintendo Switch. Is it going to be on 3DS Draco? That's a good question. I don't think so. I don't think they haven't had plans to launch it on handheld, because it's not even on Vita either. So I think this one's going to stick to the consoles. It'd be nice if we could, but damn. And congratulations are in order for Twin World. I'll be sending you that copy as soon as I get off stream. And guys, before we go, or I should say peeps, my peeps, before we go, at the end of every show, we have our last segment in our Fizame moment of the day. This one, I don't know if I could play the full version because it is from Mega64's YouTube channel. Subscribe to him, check him out. This is our Fizame moment of the day. For those of you who don't know, Reggie Fils-Aimé, president of Nintendo of America, he is known for a lot of his memes, a lot of moments that become meme-worthy. So, to celebrate the man, the myth, the legend, Reggie Fils-Aimé, we show you this video, which I'll show you guys about a couple, maybe 30 seconds of it, because it's a 5-minute video, but I'll leave the link in the description. Check him out. Mega64. This was for E3 2014, where the guys at Mega64 created Mecha Fils-Aimé, in order to sneak in and get all the secrets to Nintendo's upcoming titles for that year. So here we go. Your Fils-Aimé moment of the day. Let me pause that. Let's get the audio going here. And let me refresh this so we can get started.
It looks like some of Nintendo's Treehouse product guys and developers are going to be at E3 live streaming and showing off all the cool new stuff they've been working on and what's available at the show floor at E3.
What will they be showing?
It doesn't say, but...
I am a new peripheral here, made by Mr. Miyamoto.
Forget about it. I'm just going home.
You're almost there, Rocco. The developer's treehouse is straight ahead. Just keep going.
There you go. I just wanted to show you guys that. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That was the end of that Nintendo show. You can find me here on Twitch Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. Sometimes Mondays or Tuesdays, depending on what's happening. But you can follow me over on Twitter. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/JoAfterWork, where you can see all the videos on demand. Everything that I do here, playthroughs, Nintendo spotlights, full episodes of that Nintendo show, and so much more over there. I've officially unlisted everything that was not Nintendo related, and so that way people that are looking for Nintendo content can actually find the stuff that I am making that is Nintendo related, because a lot of those older videos from 2015 and early 2016 have nothing to do with any of the stuff that I've been doing now. So I don't want people to sub to the channel that have come for something that isn't Nintendo related and then come and look at the new content and was like, wait, this isn't what I'm coming for anymore. So to save everyone's time, I kind of took all that stuff and we're officially just all Nintendo stuff on the YouTube channel as well. The breakout, the full video and audio and the iTunes, if you guys are listening to this after fact, of course, come out the next day from the live streams, which are on Friday nights, normally at 7:30 till 9 o'clock. We did this one a little bit early because I gotta get ready for Nintendo Talk with Nintendo Guru over on his channel. I'll leave a link in the description to that and the YouTube video, and also for you guys looking to spend the rest of Friday night over here with Joe. I'll be over there for a little bit, and then we'll jump back onto Twitch for some Metopia afterwards. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you on the next episode or the next live stream. Take care. Love y'all.